Today we've got part 2 of the ALCS against the Minnesota Twins. There's a chance we advance to the World Series today, but there's also a chance that Minnesota goes to the World Series as well. Or we could be looking at a Game 6 or 7 upcoming in the next episode. So far, we lead the series 2-1. We took the first 2 games at home, dropped Game 3 in Minnesota, bringing us to a pivotal Game 4 with our best pitcher, Taj Bradley, on the bump. Game 1, we won by the score of 6-4. Competitive matchup, but our offense was a little bit too much with homers by Lou Bob and Montgomery. Bryce Miller pitched solid enough, and the bullpen did their thing the rest of the way. Game 2, we took the win here as well by the score of 6-3. Julks had a big night, while Luis Robert homered for a 4th game in a row. He has been on an absolute tear all October. Talk about stepping up to the moment as a true superstar. We lost the 3rd game 4-1. We didn't really play much of this game because we never really had a chance to win. Drew Thorpe did not record a single out, and it's unfortunate because the pitchers after him did a great job. Noah Schultz, the first postseason game of his career out of the bullpen, he goes 6 shutty. But it doesn't matter because Drew Thorpe was dreadful in the very little bit we had him in before we rushed him out of the game. 6 innings of 1-run ball for Zebby Matthews. Never really let our offense have a chance. We only scored off of a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning. So we just have to win 2 of the next 4. Ideally, let's take 1 on the road. I think taking a game here in Minnesota would obviously be a big deal for us. In terms of our standouts, no one has been more impressive than Luis Robert this postseason. A guy who is one of the best players in Major League Baseball. We know he's our superstar, and as a big-time player, you've got to step up in the big-time moments, and he has done even more than that and continues to make himself money with his upcoming free agency. The offense was great in the month of September, and sure, they're coming off a rough game in Game 3 against Minnesota, but overall, the offense has been terrific all postseason. The pitching's been up and down, and this could be our Achilles heel come later in this series. We're going to have Taj Bradley pitch Game 4. Bryce Miller will go Game 5, and then, who knows if we'll need to pitch beyond that. Hopefully not. But the starting rotation's been a little up and down. The bullpen's been a little up and down. We need more consistency from the pitching staff because the offense has been brilliant, but the pitching has been meh, to put it nicely. This pitching matchup in Game 4 definitely favors us. Taj Bradley, 2nd place for the American League Cy Young this year against David Festa, who's not a bad player, but has not thrown an inning of postseason baseball yet. So I have no clue what to expect out of him. I'm just going to tell you guys straight up, this game was nuts. So grab a life vest and buckle in because it's about to get real. We're going to start bottom 1. Not a good start. Minnesota has 2 early runners for Yanquiel Fernandez. James Wood was out for Game 3 against the Twins, and he is out again tonight. Fernandez taking his spot as it's a wild pitch, and both runners advance. So already, Minnesota has 2 runners in scoring position. Not a great start. Full count for Fernandez. Thought he drew a walk. Umpire says otherwise. All the 50-50 calls this postseason have gone our way. Every single one. I'm not complaining, but it's a very interesting trend. That's a big out to get for Taj Bradley. Now he's got a little bit of momentum, and now the door is a lot more cracked open to get out of this inning unharmed. Brooks Lee up for the Twins now. Big at bat and a big opportunity to strike quickly for the Twins. Looking to get these 2 runs in. A lot of pitches close. That one called a strike. The first pitch called a ball. Bradley's doing a good job early of putting everything on the edge. Not making it easy. Count is now 2-2. Lee is working a really long at bat as he looks at the high cutter, and the count is full. This has been an impressive AB from Brooks Lee. Bradley's at 25 pitches already as he fouls off another one. As Minnesota continues to drive up his pitch count, how are we supposed to be confident that he's going to go past, say, 5 innings? He's only recorded 1 out so far. As that one is fouled off again, and this at bat will continue once more. We've got to be nearing 10 pitches at this point as Lee fouls off another one. Cutter down the middle. These guys are absolutely battling right now. Full count. Bradley, Lee. Popped into left. Julks is after it, and he will make the play. The runner will look to tag up. The throw to the plate, not in time. Minnesota is on the board. A successful sacrifice from Brooks Lee. Not only does he drive it a run, but it took like 10 pitches to do so. Taj Bradley's pitch count is really high. 0-1, Emmanuel Rodriguez. He's had a phenomenal postseason for the Twins. Hits it high into the air in center. Luis Robert makes the play. Very good inning for Minnesota, though, and I don't think the score does it justice. Again, if they can get Taj Bradley out of the game quickly, that would be a big deal for them. Or they force us to use him for a while, and Bradley may not be available in a later game of this series. Top two, now our offense is starting to get rolling with Caro and Montgomery aboard. Brian Ramos getting the start today with Shane Schmidt absent from the starting lineup. We've had him on the bench since game one. The lights have been too bright for the 18-year-old, and I feel more comfortable with the vets. Wild pitch, not going to send the runners. Now the count is 2-2. Big opportunity for us to clap back and tie the game or possibly do more. The pitch from Festa. Swing and a miss. Ramos goes down on the fastball, and the Twins get out of it. Festa in a little bit of a jam, but the White Sox leave two. Into the fourth. Wow, a lot of action. Kyle Teal, 2-run homer. Caro drives in a run. But then Yanquiel Fernandez hits a 2-run homer for Minnesota. We're knotted up. The White Sox have 2 runners aboard and 1 away for Corey Julks in a game that quickly has turned into a hitting clash. Again, our offense is pulling their weight. The pitching continues to be inconsistent. Julks hits it into right. That'll go for out number 2, and a huge at-bat upcoming for Kyle Teal, who just homered his previous time up. We could use another big swing for Teal, who very quietly has had a phenomenal postseason himself. Lou Bob's gotten the attention, but Kyle Teal is also raking. Into the gap, it'll score at least 1, maybe 2. Runner around third, heads to the plate, and the throw is not in time. Wagner is safe. It's a 2-run double for Kyle Teal, who's driven in 4 runs tonight, and the White Sox take the lead 5-3. That'll knock Festa out of the game. A.J. Smith-Shawver will come in to replace him for Minnesota. We'll see if the offense can continue the hot streak over the last few innings as Luis Robert swings at the curveball. That pitch had a ton of movement. Incredible break on that one from Smith-Shawver. Lou Bob behind 1-2. I mean, there's not much you can do there but tip your cap. Those were some filthy pitches. Good inning, though, for the White Sox. Kyle Teal brings home a pair. Got to get more out of Taj Bradley, although I will defend him. Both of those runs in the last inning were unearned. Minnesota got the initial runner on off of an error. We'll go bottom 5. David Santos is aboard. Carlos Correa is up with no away, and a chance for Minnesota to potentially do some damage. We haven't gotten the swing and miss stuff from Bradley, but he is limiting base runners. 3 hits, 2 walks, only 1 earned run. Got unlucky. The defense didn't help him, and granted, he shouldn't have allowed another homer to Fernandez, but still. Grounded to third. Ramos hesitates. Where's he going with the ball? He does get Correa out at first. That could have been bad news. I thought there was a chance they would call Ramos for an error to not get the runner out at second. But what's ironic is that runner got on off of an error originally by Brian Ramos, and now he's going to score as Yanquiel Fernandez singles into center, and it's 5-4. Another unearned run allowed by Taj Bradley. This defense has been dreadful. 2 errors plus the hesitation we just saw by Brian Ramos. We're keeping them in the game. It should be 5-1 right now. Brooks Lee is up. We just saw him work a very impressive at-bat earlier in the game. Lee is not hitting the ball well against the White Sox, but he's going deep in accounts. 1-1, fouls it off. Taj Bradley's pitch count is getting higher and higher. It's almost at 80. I mean, let's say this series goes 7 games and we need him. We can't throw his arm out tonight as he strikes out Brooks Lee. On one hand, Bradley has only allowed 1 earned run, but on the other hand, with the errors by the defense, he has not been able to stop Minnesota from capitalizing. Rodriguez hits it into left. Julks is under it. He makes the catch. That'll probably be it for Bradley. A very weird game for him because he only allowed 1 earned run, but as we saw, that gives him a little too much credit. But the defense is also largely, if not even more, to blame for Minnesota scoring. We'll travel bottom 6. Dre Jamison on the bump. Now this game is really starting to get tight. With Bradley gone, we need the bullpen to step up. Wallner grounds it to second. Good start. Ketel Marte out number 1. We've just got to continue to tread water. Hold on to this lead. Don't let Minnesota stack base runners. Andrew Vaughn, the former White Sox, homered in each of the first 2 games in this series in his former ballpark. And to right, Cam Smith is under it. He makes the play for the second out. Dre Jamison looking good. He's been a little inconsistent as of recent, so it's nice seeing him impress early. Still got to get one more out, though. Jeffers 0-2. Lines that one over the glove of Montgomery for a single into center field. 2-out single for Ryan Jeffers, and we'll see if Minnesota can capitalize, look to tie, or take the lead. Kalen Culpepper, the onion fielder, the 1-2. Chops it to third. Let's not hesitate this time. There's 2 away. You can throw it to first. Good. Brian Ramos gets the out, and it remains 5-4. Strong inning from Dre Jamison. We're now going to fast forward into the bottom of the 7th. Our offense has been quiet since Kyle Teal's explosion in the 3rd and 4th innings, respectively. John Kenya's now in. Minnesota's got a couple lefties due up, so it's easy to see why they brought him in here. David Santos up the middle. Montgomery will not make the grab. Leadoff single for the Twins as they get their first runner of the inning aboard for the heart of the order. Carlos Correa, one of the most experienced postseason players in Major League Baseball today. That one goes to the left field corner. Julks misplays it at the wall. Santos around third, looks to score. He is safe, and the Twins not only tie the game up, but they have a runner in scoring position with nobody out, and a real chance to potentially take the lead. 2-2, Fernandez rips that one into center. That's going to go for a hit. Correa rounding third, heads to the plate. The throw from Robert is just barely not in time. 6-5, Minnesota leads. Yanquiel Fernandez, starting in place of James Wood, has driven in 4 runs so far tonight. Talk about stepping up when the lights are the brightest. King faces 3 base runners. They all reach, so we're going to yank them. Tony Santillan, our high leverage guy, is in for the White Sox. He's pitched in 5 games this postseason, but only 2 2/3 innings. We've had him come in pinches to get runners out in scoring position. Leon to center, caught by Smith. There we go. We're at least on the board with an out, although Lee did hit that one pretty well. I thought it was going to drop. Full count, Emmanuel Rodriguez. Got him looking. Another close call. Outside slider. Rodriguez doesn't like it. 0-2. Wallner. Swing and a miss on the circle change. Minnesota does take the lead, though. Great job by Santillan to get out of the inning. But the Twins are now up 6-5, and now the offense has got to make some plays. Dennis Santana in for the Twins here in the 8th. Had a very good season in the regular season, and he has been busy this postseason. 8 innings, only allowed 2 runs. He's pitched quite well. Middle of the order here for Chicago. Full count. Cam Smith draws a walk. Good at bat. Let's get some base runners. Let's give our offense chances with runners aboard to tie or take the lead. Ketel Marte, a very clutch hitter. Another guy with a lot of postseason experience. It's that one high into the air in center. Not deep enough. Rodriguez is under it. He'll make the play for the first out. We've got to get a rally going quickly, though, given that it's the 8th inning and we're trailing. Colson Montgomery's had some big swings for us this postseason. How about another? Not quite. Actually, quite the opposite. 6-4-3, inning-ending double play. Minnesota turns 2, and we will go to the bottom of the 8th. The Twins up by 1. Carlos Estevez is in for Chicago. I thought about using one of our lesser relievers, but we're still very much in this game. Let's bring in Estevez. Let's put some faith that this team can potentially, A, get through the 8th inning scoreless, but also come back in the 9th. Following an Andrew Vaughn strikeout, Ryan Jeffers pops it into right center. Cam Smith is after it again, and he will make the catch for the second out of the inning. Bullpen overall has done a good job other than John King, who may have lost us the game. Culpepper, dribbler to short. Montgomery charges after it. Going to be close. Actually, not really. He made that throw kind of comfortably. Here we go into the 9th inning. 6-5. Minnesota leads. They are going to bring out Griffin Jax, looking for the save. Interesting that Jax is coming into the game here, not TJ Antoine, who was the regular closer throughout the year. Jax only has 1 save in the postseason so far, and we're going to bring Shane Schmidt in off the bench. I know he struggled this postseason, but Damn it, he's a darn good hitter. So I want to see what he can do in this spot as Schmidt fouls this one away. We'll show the entirety of the at-bat because it feels like a big one for a youngster in Shane Schmidt, whose batting average is below 100 this postseason. Lines that one foul, got a little bit ahead of the inside sweeper, and he's now behind in the count, 0-2. He's fouling a bunch of pitches off. He's doing a good job staying alive as he hits that one up the middle. Should not have swung at that pitch. He does hit it well, but Minnesota placed the shift perfectly, and they will get the first out of the inning. Not the worst at bat, but not great either. 1-1, Barney Wagner swings and misses. We've got the other rookie up. Unlike Schmidt, the moment has not looked too big for Wagner. He's been extremely impressive this postseason, hitting .379, but he swings and misses at the outside sweeper. Back-to-back bad swings. Wagner's usually got great plate discipline. I don't know what happened there, and it will come down to Corey Julks. The final out. Everybody at Target Field on their feet as Minnesota looks to tie this series up at 2. Julks 0 for 3 tonight. He's been a little up and down this postseason. He was kind of up and down throughout the entire second half of the year. Obviously not as good as he was during that insane stretch in May. That one is grounded to short. Correa going to be a tough throw to first. Not in time! Infield single for Julks, and this game stays alive. Way to hustle! And gives Kyle Teal, who's driven in 4 of our 5 runs tonight, an opportunity to tie the game. I don't know if there's anybody I'd rather up in this spot as he fouls back the 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Teal has been so clutch throughout the course of the year. He has hit the ball extremely well this postseason, and he might have done it again! Into left center. Julks is going as fast as he can. They're going to send him. Julks is safe. The White Sox tie it at 6. Kyle Teal does it again. He's driven in 5 runs tonight. And we got to really shout out Corey Julks for hustling on that ground ball, getting to first, keeping the inning alive, and letting Kyle Teal, who's been unbelievable tonight, bring him in. Now let's take the lead. 0-1, Luis Robert fouls off the sweeper. He's already behind 0-2. That sweeper has been filthy in this inning from Griffin Jax. He's fooling these White Sox batters. Fools Lou Bob again. I'm impressed he was even able to put the bat to the ball. That pitch was nowhere close to the zone. 0-2 for Luis Robert. See? Case in point. Swinging and a miss. Hard to complain with that inning, though. The White Sox keep it alive. An RBI double from Kyle Teal as we go to the bottom of the 9th. So, Schmidt originally replaced Brian Ramos, and I want our best defensive lineup out there. So, Brandon Montgomery will move over to left. And then Corey Julks, who was playing left, will go to third, where Brian Ramos originally was. We're going to have Ezra Valenzuela pitch. It's not a save situation here, but he's our best bullpen arm, and he's a guy who can go multiple innings if needed. Santos into right. Smith will not make the play. It's going to roll to the wall. Smith was unsure whether he should dive for the ball or just try to let it angle for a single, but since he was so indecisive, it just rolls by him anyway. And the winning run is in scoring position with nobody out for the heart of the order. Big spot here for Carlos Correa, who can walk it off and tie this series for Minnesota. 0-2. Swing and a miss! That cutter on the top right corner of the zone from Ezra is so filthy. That is, without a doubt, his best pitch. Doesn't matter if it's a righty or a lefty. It's just so good. Fernandez rips it to short, 111. He nearly won the game. Would have been his 5th RBI, but right into the glove of Colson Montgomery. Brooks Lee, swing and a miss on the cutter. Ezra's got him down 1-2, looking to send this game to extras. Got him looking! That top right cutter for lefties, it's the inside corner. Filthy. It's unhittable. In the case of Brooks Lee, it looks like it's a ball. It looks like it's curving up. Doesn't matter. We're going extras. Edgar Caro up the middle, base hit. Good start to the 10th for the White Sox. And remember, in the postseason, there's no extra innings runner. So this is our first guy on. Cam Smith now for Chicago. He's drawing his fair share of walks tonight, 0 for 2 otherwise. That one is sent into the air and right, and it is caught for the first out of the inning. Big opportunity here for Ketel Marte. He's been quiet tonight, 0 for 4. As he rips the first pitch, into left center at the track, at the wall. It is caught. That one was hit really well, but unfortunately not enough carry. We do have an interesting insurance policy with Ezra Valenzuela, who's going to pitch the 10th. If we go to an 11th, he might pitch that too. So if we don't get runs, at least we'll have him waiting. Ideally, though, I want to put him in a save situation. And following that walk by Colson Montgomery, we now have a runner in scoring position with Edgar Caro. New pitcher comes in for Minnesota. It's James McArthur. 6.7 ERA through 4 postseason innings. 2 on, 2 away. Brady Montgomery, who entered the game earlier as a defensive substitution, will now make the biggest at-bat of the night, and he swings at a sinker in the dirt. Not good. Game remains knotted up at 6. We'll go bottom 10. Ezra Valenzuela pitching another inning. He's had multiple games where he's gone 2-3 innings over the last year plus, and we're going to need him to do it again. Rodriguez swinging a miss on the cutter. That's a good start. Ezra's had his fair share of struggles as of recent, but so far tonight, he looks quite impressive. Wallner, he's behind 0-2. Swinging a miss! Ezra's not even letting these guys get into the at-bat. I mean, these are 3-4 pitch strikeouts. This is dominant stuff from Ezra Valenzuela. He looks awesome. Andrew Vaughn, however, sends this one into right center. Maybe we should not have spoken too soon. It'll roll to the wall. Vaughn, who's been arguably Minnesota's best offensive player in this ALCS. I mean, who would have seen that coming 4 years ago? It's a double for Vaughn, and the winning run is in scoring position. They'll take him out and bring in Freddie Cestaro as a pinch runner with Ryan Jeffers, who has a chance to win it. Ezra looking to send us to the 11th. First pitch doesn't swing for ball 1. Got to imagine Ezra's going to look to get the cutter going early. That is, of course, his signature pitch. 1-0. Fastball up and in. Jeffers into left. It is caught by Brady Montgomery. He hit that ball pretty well, but not quite enough. We are going to the 11th. Both teams got some base runners there. Both teams had guys in scoring position. Neither side able to score. So we've got the interesting part of the lineup, I would say, because Barney Wagner at the 9 slot is basically a second leadoff hitter. So I kind of like him going right before these top guys as he dribbles it on the ground. And Correa makes the play. Maybe I shouldn't have gassed him up. Top of the order, Corey Julks saved his back in the 9th with his hustling. Now he's back on first again. Singles into center. Runner aboard for Kyle Teel, who's driven in 5 runs tonight on 4 hits. He's a triple shy of the cycle as Teel hits this one into left. I don't think that one's going to drop. No one bats 1,000. Not even Kyle Teel. Big spot here for Luis Robert. Can he come up clutch again? Lines it to first. What a play. I thought that one was going to go for a hit. But Gerard Encarnacion, who enters as a defensive substitution for Andrew Vaughn, may have saved the inning for Minnesota. And they'll get another shot to win it here in the bottom of the 11th against Ezra Valenzuela. Culpepper into center. That'll go for a hit. Leadoff runner, and a pretty fast one at that, is aboard for the Twins. We're going to ride it out with Ezra. There's no reason not to. I believe in him to get us through the 11th. 1-1 for David Santos. Gets the high cutter and gets plunked. Well, that didn't go to plan. 2 runners on. More importantly, though, the winning run moves over to second base. Correa on the ground. Montgomery's going to look to turn 2, and we do. In that scenario, we could have easily rationalized going to third, but I'd rather take the chance on getting 2 outs. That's what we do here. Now they're going to need a base hit to score the run. The problem is it's Yanquiel Fernandez who's driven in 4 runs tonight, but he pops it up. BMO makes the play. 3 scoreless innings from Ezra Valenzuela tonight. He was absolutely phenomenal, but unfortunately our offense has not, given him a chance to get the save. 9th, 10th, 11th innings, no runs. Edgar Caro leads off the 12th. Got him looking on the slider. Good pitch by McArthur. Chicago not even swinging the bat there. Cam Smith is now up for the Sox. First pitch of the AB. Up the middle. Correa diving snag. Throw to first in time. The offense really isn't even showing signs of life. Yeah, we got a little going in the 10th, but we are cold. Here's Marte, though, into right. That ball goes off the top of the wall. Inches away from scraping over. If not for these park dimensions, that would have been a home run. It is a double, but man, we could have had the lead. We were inches away. Now we're going to need Colson Montgomery to bring home Marte from second, and he does not. Swing and miss on the fastball. I was gassing Montgomery up earlier about how he's making all these plays in big spots. Last two at-bats, double play and a 2-out strikeout. So Ezra Valenzuela's night is over. Joe Jimenez will come into the game looking to keep this one tied at 6 and bring us to a 13th inning. Can the Twins walk it off here? Their fourth opportunity to do so. Lee. Probably not. He grounds it to third. Julks makes the play for out number 1. Corey Julks' defensive versatility is so key for us because we can easily bring pinch hitters in and move him just about anywhere around the diamond. Emmanuel Rodriguez 1-2. Got him looking. What was he waiting for? Slider right down the heart of the plate. I mean, you are not going to find a better pitch than that. Seriously, what was he thinking? That'll bring you Matt Wallner 2-2. This one is grounded to first. Caro tags the base. We are headed to the 13th. Neither of these offenses are showing any semblance of seriousness whatsoever at the moment. Don't forget about those 2 errors, though. We could have had this game won if not for multiple defensive lapses. This is a game we should win. We've been better than Minnesota throughout the course of the evening. Dowry Moretta is in for the Twins against Montgomery. 0-2, swinging a miss. Montgomery off the bench, 0 for 2, 2 punch-outs. That's not exactly how you get more postseason playing time, even with his phenomenal defense. Wagner grounds it to first. I mean, no one is getting on base right now. We are ice cold. The thing is, the Twins are also equally ice cold. Julks, count is full, the 3-2. Swinging a miss on the circle change into the bottom of the 13th. We go. Still no lead change. Minnesota will get another chance to win the game. Now it'll be against Hagen Smith. He's led up 2 runs in 3 postseason innings so far. Who knows how long this game is going to go. So he's a guy who will be able to pitch 2, 3, 4 plus innings if needed, which if no one's going to hit the ball, we might need that out of him. Gerard Encarnacion goes down looking. One away for the catcher, Ryan Jeffers. First pitch of the at-bat. Jeffers lines it to short. Good play by Montgomery. We're getting through these innings quickly because neither team's making it interesting. I mean, no one is getting on base. These bullpens are shoving. Culpepper into right. Smith makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 inning. Good work from Hagen Smith. He will certainly stay in the game for the 14th inning. 2, 3, 4 hitters. This is our chance to strike. But Kyle Teal swings at a low slider. The one area of Teal's game that he needs to improve on is the plate discipline. That goes for a lot of the guys in the middle of this order. Luis Robert included. Checked his swing. Went around for strike 3. We've tried to build this team with guys who can command the strike zone, but our best hitters just can't. Caro has 3 hits. He'll reach base once again. There we go. That's a good at-bat. Draws a walk. Runner on, 2 away for Cam Smith. The one guy who has consistently gone through good at-bats this postseason as that one gets away. Caro digs for second, and we've got a runner in scoring position. This could be our opportunity to strike. We've got to take advantage while the iron's hot because we haven't had any chances really since the 10th inning. Full count for Smith. Grounds that one. Deflected it by Encarnacion to first in time. They got him. And the Twins will get through the top of the 14th with no score change. Santos up the middle. Marte going to be a tough play. Makes the throw. Top of the order being up here certainly makes things interesting for the Twins. Correa now. The 0-1. He's been surprisingly quiet throughout this series against the White Sox. Lines it right to Smith. Doesn't have to move much. He'll make the play for the second out of the inning. Yanquiel Fernandez has been phenomenal all night long, as that one is inside for ball 1. Fernandez has 3 hits, homered, has driven in 4 of the Twins' 6 runs. The 1-0. This one is hit into left. That one's going to drop, his 4th of the game. Minnesota has the winning run aboard. Will this be where they find a way to end the game once and for all? Lee, no. Marte flips it to second, and we are headed to a 15th inning. Neither side is doing anything offensively in these extra innings. The score has remained the same for a while. TJ Antoine, who's been Minnesota's regular closer, is finally in the game. I don't know why they didn't bring him out earlier. I mean, I guess it worked out. The other relievers were more than fine. Marte goes down looking. Wow, I thought that was outside and a ball. The officials have given us a lot of calls in this series. That was not one of them. Minnesota got handed a gift. Full count. Montgomery grounds it over to short. Correa, throw to first. Close one, but in time. We've got to stack base runners. We're not even doing that. This offense, which was good earlier in the game, looks lost. Waldo in as a pinch hitter for Montgomery. Swings at a pitch in the dirt. We'll go bottom 15. Hagen Smith still in. Twins with their 7th chance to walk it off. You'd think with 6, 7 chances, they'd finally get the job done. As Rodriguez grounds it to first, Carroll makes the play for out number 1. Matt Wallner now up for the Twins. The 1-1. That one is grounded by Montgomery. Marte diving play. Throw to first, not in time. He should not have swung at that pitch. 68 miles an hour off the bat. Doesn't matter. Baseball is a cruel sport. Gerard Encarnacion, who came into the game earlier as a defensive substitution, has not gotten a lot of offensive at-bats this postseason. Swings and misses at the high inside slider. Good pitch by Hagen Smith, and now it's Jeffers. Sayonara! Adios! Good night! Jeffers walks it off, and this series is tied at 2. It took 15 innings for somebody to score in the extra innings. Sure, Hagen Smith allowed that base runner, but it's hard to get on the bullpen. They were tremendous down the stretch. Our pitching staff only allowed 3 earned runs, and 2 of them came off of this home run. The problem is the position players, and I grouped them as position players because it wasn't just the offense. And sure, the offense not doing anything in the second half of the game, and the 6 opportunities and extras is awfully alarming. But they were also bad on defense with 2 errors, another bad play by Ramos, leading to runs being scored in the 5th. I mean, sure, it's nice having Kyle Teal grab 4 hits and driving in 5 runs. 15 hits, 5 walks. The offense put up the counting stats, especially early, but in the extra innings, they just kind of fell apart. 5 innings, 1-run ball in terms of earned runs for Bradley. He allowed 4 total. Truthfully, he really didn't pitch his best, and those earned runs not counting certainly inflate his what otherwise were not great numbers. The starting pitching for Minnesota was pretty blah, but their bullpen was phenomenal. And so all of a sudden, we've got a new series. I told you that'd be quite the game. 15 innings. The first postseason game this year where the number of innings played is higher than Wander Franco's preferred age range. So now, Game 5 just got really interesting. Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, 2 phenomenal arms. Minnesota's got the series momentum. They've just won 2 games in a row at home. They're back in their building. We certainly do not want to go back home trailing 3-2, having to win both games at home, because that would be a major uphill battle for us. So this feels like such a huge pivotal point in this series, and we are off to a good start. We're up 2-0. Kyle Teal is homered again. What a surprise. But Minnesota's starting to do some damage. They've got 2 on, nobody out. Brooks Lee goes down looking. That was a good pitch to swing at. I don't know what he was doing. Overall, though, Bryce Miller looks the part in this game. Sure, he's allowed a couple of base runners this inning, but through the first 3 innings at least, he was awesome. Erod goes down looking. That probably was a ball. They handed us one there. Am I complaining? No, I'm not. But the fix might be in. Here is Wallner into left. That goes for a hit, and Julks completely misplays it. He overestimated his speed. He thought he could catch the ball. That will cause a run. We're tied at 2. Another mental blunder by the defense. This really hasn't been an issue for us throughout the year, but now in our biggest games, these guys are making a ton of mistakes in the field. Vaughn swinging a miss on the fastball. Twins do get 2. This game just got interesting as we are knotted up. Hopefully our offense is going to have some chances to potentially take the lead in this game, as we will travel into the top of the 6th. Kyle Teal reaches base yet again with nobody out. Middle of the order up. Marco Raya is on the bump for the Twins. He's pitched fairly well coming out of the bullpen early. Luis Robert's hot streak has come to a screeching halt over this last game and a half as he goes down looking on the fastball. Good pitch by Raya for the first out. Edgar Caro now, he was impressive in Game 4. One of the few guys who kind of showed up in the extra innings as he goes down on the high fastball. That'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Romeo Sanabria. Why is he in the game here? Well, earlier, Cam Smith got hurt. Sanabria replaces him in the outfield. We'll get more updates for Smith later, but obviously his afternoon is over. Sanabria is swinging and miss. We will go into the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 2. Part in the bottom of the 6th. Bryce Miller is still in. I think we're going to roll with him. I do trust him in this spot. With Culpepper aboard, nobody out for Carlos Correa. Minnesota's finally shifted their lineup without James Wood. As Correa sends this one into right. That'll go for a leadoff hit. And Minnesota's got 2 runners on the corners, nobody out, and now it's decision time. Do you roll with Bryce Miller or do you keep him in? Game 1, we are in a kind of similar spot. We kept him in and it backfired, so we are not going to make the same mistake again. His night is over. 5 innings, 2 earned runs so far. Hopefully that number does not balloon up to 4. And for Miller, you know, if we don't make the World Series, this could be it for him with the White Sox, given that he's a free agent at the end of the year. Tony Santillan is in, given that there's a runner in scoring position. I want our high leverage guy in now. There's no real reason to wait until the 7th or 8th inning when we can use him at a pivotal spot in this game right now. Runners on the corners, nobody out for Brooks Lee. He nearly gets hit. That would have loaded the bases. He's lucky. Well, I mean, I guess his body's lucky. It would have been nice for Minnesota to get the base runner. 9th pitch of the at-bat, the 3-2 inside for ball 4. A ridiculously impressive AB for Brooks Lee. Him and Santillan battled for a while. Now the bases are loaded. It's a 1-2 count for Emmanuel Rodriguez. And he does get hit. That'll score a run. Minnesota takes the lead. Santillan's control looking very spotty. Bases are still loaded. They've got a chance to do more. Wallner on the ground. Montgomery charges after, and we're only going to be able to get 1. If we sent the ball anywhere else, everybody would have been safe. We had no choice but to just get the out at first. Run scores, it's 4-2, and now Minnesota has a chance to do some more damage. 3-0 for Andrew Vaughn. We're not giving him anything good. Even ahead 3-0. We're fine with a walk. It does set a force out up at all 3 bases, which could potentially lead to a double play if this ball is on the ground. We'll see what Santillan can do against Yanquiel Fernandez, who's been a hero for Minnesota in this series, and he will strike big again. Bounces over the fence. Ground rule double. A 6-2 lead for the Twins. Tony Santillan does not have it tonight, and he'll be replaced by Carlos Estevez. Looking to get out of the inning in which Minnesota's already scored 4 to take the lead in a series that's tied at 2 and in a game that was tied at 2. Jeffers, who had the walk-off, swing and a miss on the 12-6. Another base hit could really make this game out of reach, given that they had the 2 runners in scoring position. So David Santos, the rookie's in a big spot. 1-2. Swing and a miss! Swinging out of his shoes on the circle change. That'll wrap up what was otherwise not a very good inning. The Twins get 4. They lead at 6-4. I'm not sure if we're going to have another chance the rest of the way. We're going to simulate the game, see if they let us hop in. No. We ended up getting a couple more runs from Marte and Julks, but a 2-run shot by Emmanuel Rodriguez would be the silencer. Minnesota returns home and goes 3-0. The Twins lead this series 3-2, and they can clinch a spot in the World Series in Game 6 tonight. There will be a lot at stake for the White Sox, who have kind of hit the wall, if you will, and as a team are now only 5-5 in the postseason. That's not all that impressive for a team who was like 23-5 since the start of September. 4 runs, 10 hits, 0 walks. Not good. Teal and Marte both went deep. Miller, kind of the same story as the last game. He was really good through 5 innings, and then he lets up a couple of base runners, and, well, they both score. So maybe we've got to be smarter with his innings or pitch count. 8 runs, 10 hits, 4 walks for the Twins. Logan Gilbert left the game early. I assume he got hurt. Marco Raya comes in, does a great job. As for Cam Smith, I mentioned he also got hurt. Strained bicep. Not a long-term thing, but it could keep him out. And now is not the time for him to not be in the lineup, given that Game 6 is an elimination game, and if we win, so is Game 7. Pat Murphy's off the injured list. It's not going to matter, though. Torn rotator cuff. He's still out for another 6-7 months. We've got to figure out what we're going to do without Cam Smith if he doesn't play. Is the medical staff going to try to get him to tough it out? Or are we going to have to replace him? We're already benching Shane Schmidt, so this will be a second guy that we have to take out of the lineup. And with the series being 3-2 and with our backs against the wall, does it just make more sense to have him suck it up and play through it? We've got some big season-defining decisions to make with him, as does Minnesota, who's been without James Wood since the start of Game 3. Youngkill Fernandez has taken over in the starting lineup and has been absolutely terrific. If Cam Smith doesn't play, we're certainly going to hope that somebody can do a fraction of what Fernandez has been able to do in a relief role for Minnesota. Game 6 here in Chicago, the White Sox needing a win to keep their season alive. If we do win, next episode would be Game 7. James Wood is in for Minnesota. Cam Smith is out. He will not play for the White Sox. It'll be BMO in right. Hayden Wesneski gets the ball for Chicago. I feel confident with him pitching in this game. I mean, the guy doesn't allow runs. His ERA in the regular season was at like 1.5. His whip, I believe, was below 0.8. He doesn't allow base runners. He doesn't allow runs to score. And so far through 2 postseason games, that has continued to be the case. Swing and a miss for Carlos Correa. Wesneski retires the side quickly as we go to the bottom of the first and we take a look at Bailey Ober getting the start for the Twins. The big 6'11" righty. 3.71 ERA, 1.47 whip here in the postseason. He has been perfectly solid. White Sox lineup knows they got to get rolling. They've been streaky in this series. We've had our good moments, but also some bad ones. Julks, I think that pitch was in the zone. I don't think it's because he went around, but rather that hit the top corner. Really good pitch by Ober. Teal 2-2 goes down looking. The White Sox are going to have to swing the bat if they want to score some runs. Luis Robert behind 1-2, and Ober does not strike out the side. Grounder up the middle. Throw is made at second base by Kalen Culpepper. No base runners for either side here in the first. We will travel into the second as Hayden Wesneski looks for another phenomenal outing in what has been an absolutely dominant season for the first-time All-Star. Brooks Lee, 1-1, crushes this one into left. That ball is out of here, and the Twins strike first in Game 6. 408 feet, first home run of the postseason for Brooks Lee. He hasn't hit the ball well against the White Sox, but as I've mentioned over the last couple of games, he's worked some really good at-bats, and he was due for a big swing. Sure enough, he gets it here in Game 6. That'll bring up Andrew Vaughn, who, again, has been electric throughout this series. 2-2. Flies it into left. Julks, one of Vaughn's only remaining teammates with the White Sox, will make the play. So no other base runners, but Twins are on the board. Brooks Lee, solo shot off of Wesneski. We'll go bottom 2. Full count here for Edgar Carroll leading things off. Swing and a miss on the circle change. A lot of swing and miss stuff so far. Chicago's timing at the plate seems a little bit odd to start. 1-2 for Colson Montgomery. Swing and a miss on the circle change. It just feels off right now. The offense, I really think that Game 4, where we couldn't score for those 6 extra innings, may have really done some psychological damage to the offense as Ryan Jeffers gets a hold of this one with one away. It'll one hop off the wall in left center. Jeffers over to second. He makes it in with a double, and the Twins get a runner in scoring position. The last thing we need is to potentially allow more guys to come in and for them to add to the lead. So we've really got to get out of this. What a pitch by Wesneski. That slurve had so much movement, and Santos could only watch it go right by him. 1-2 for Culpepper, goes back to the slurve, and Culpepper clobbers it into right center. Minnesota adds to the lead. It's 3-0. 424 feet for Kalen Culpepper. His first home run of the postseason, and it could not have come at a worse time for the White Sox. Trailing in the series 3-2, we've now got damage control, and a lot of it. We've got 7 innings to make this comeback, but a 1-run deficit versus a 3-run deficit, there's a noticeable difference. Correa swings at a pitch in the dirt. Wesneski not afraid to go back to the slurve. Does allow a 2-run homer, though, to Kalen Culpepper. The Twins up early, looking to win their 4th straight game and make it to the World Series against the Phillies. Brady Montgomery draws a walk. Finally, a base runner for the White Sox. Got to start somewhere. We've just got to get guys on base. That's got to be the key. Don't swing for the fences. Wagner gets a piece of this one into left. It'll go off the wall for a 1-out double. We're going to hold BMO at third base. The lights and the moment continue to not be too much for Barney Wagner. Man, he looks calm and composed here in these big spots. 2-2 for Julks. Grounder to third. Santos will make the throw, but Corey Julks does score. You know what? That play could have gone a lot worse. We're able to get a run. We're on the board, and we still have a runner at second base. You know, base hit would bring him in here, and look who's up. It's Kyle Teal, one of our biggest at-bats of the year, one of our biggest players is up as he's behind 1-2. He hesitated on that circle change because it was right on the edge of the strike zone. With the inconsistencies from these umpires, you never know. Got him looking on the fastball, just like his first time up. So a busy third inning. Minnesota gets 2. We get 1 back. Still some work to do, but at the very least, the boys are on the board. We're going to roll with Wisniewski into the 4th. Look, he's allowed the 2 homers, but otherwise he's pitching a good game. That slurve has been busy tonight as he gets Rodriguez. Wisniewski's had such a good season, I feel like we have to put our trust into him. He's been a star for us pitching-wise, so why go away from him when times get a little shaky? Well, the decision to keep him in here in the 4th paid off. Wallner grounds out to first. 1-2-3 inning for Hayden Wisniewski. That looked a lot more like his normal self as we go bottom 4. 3, 4, 5 hitters. The middle of the White Sox order is up. That'll start with Luis Robert. He gets a hold of this one to right center. This one will roll all the way near the warning track. Going to be a close play at second. Hold on a minute. He is barely safe. Gutsy decision to run with how quickly Rodriguez not only closed out the ball, but he also has an elite arm. We knew that. We still sent him anyway. Caro swing to this on the high fastball. Our 2 catchers, 2 of our best players, have not been so good. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Teals are both looking. Caros are both swinging. 1 away, full count. Marte got him looking. We've got to swing the bat. I mean, what pitch was he waiting for? That's been too many times today where we're trying to command the strike zone. We're not being aggressive enough. Here's Colson Montgomery. Gets a hold of this one into right. Wallner at the track, at the wall. It is gone! Colson Montgomery does it again! And we are tied at 3. The White Sox needed a big hit. They needed a jolt. Needed to get some energy inside of this stadium. And all of a sudden, this place is rocking. 4th home run for Colson Montgomery. These home runs for him are all coming in such big spots, it feels like, throughout this postseason. None bigger than this one. Boy, did we need that bad. This game all of a sudden is tied up, and the White Sox are starting to get some momentum back. Ramos up the middle. Nice diving snag by Culpepper. Throw to first is in time. Ramos has kind of taken over that de facto number 9 starting gig with Schmidt benched. Good inning. Colson Montgomery, 2-run homer. We're not up at 3. It's a new game. It's a clean slate. And now it's our turn to paint the picture. Shout out Dan Lanning. We have 5 innings with the game basically 0-0. We have to outplay them these next 5 innings, and we can go to a game 7. We're going to stick by Wisniewski again, although the pitch count is creeping up there. Vaughn draws a walk. Leadoff runner is aboard for the Twins. James Wood is batting in the 8 hole today. I don't know why, but he is, as he swings and misses on the circle change. I also don't like that they took Youngkill Fernandez out of the lineup. Like, I get you want to insert James Wood back, obviously, but why not have them both in? Jeffers swinging a miss on the high slurve. All the swings and misses are coming on the slurve. That's 6 tonight for Wisniewski. Santos 1-1 on the ground is short. Colson Montgomery over to first. It is in time. Pretty solid inning for Wisniewski. He allows the walk, but nothing more. And now the question is, do we have him come out for the 6th? Or is that it? Wisniewski's not a guy who regularly goes 6, 7, 8 innings. So this would be a little bit rare for him as Brady Montgomery swings and misses. Good pitch by Ober, who's also still in the game. His pitch count roughly at the same spot as Wisniewski's was earlier in the inning. Another base hit for Barney Wagner. That's all this kid does. I mean, we had him up in the big leagues for 3 weeks. Not only makes the postseason roster, but we use him as a starter, and he's been one of our most consistent players. Another big spot for Kyle Teel. He's been quiet today. Teel, can I get a selfie? I have a different demand. Teel, can we get a base hit? Or better yet, can we swing the bat? Struck out looking in both of his first 2 at-bats. That one is just barely foul. I don't think it would have scored Wagner, but at the very least, it would have got him to third, and it probably would have put 2 runners in scoring position for Lou Bob. Dribbler on the ground. That's not going to do it. I mean, at least he hit it this time. Vaughn makes the play. Still tied going into the 6th. We, for now, will roll with Hayden Wisniewski. It's not like he's some random middle-of-the-rotation guy. He was an all-star. His ERA was in the mid-1s. We'll start with Kalen Culpepper. Homered his last time up. He gets that one by Montgomery for a base hit. Felice going into this inning for Wisniewski was 1 base runner. Well, he allowed the 1 base runner, so we're going to take him out. I don't want to make a mistake and keep him in for too long. We've done that twice with Bryce Miller in this postseason, in this series against Minnesota. We almost did it in Game 5 against Seattle. We know how good Taj Bradley was in that matchup, but we put him in too long. So while I believe in Hayden Wisniewski, and I think he could get us out of the inning, why chance it? Our other great pitchers, we put them in those spots, and they haven't come up big. Carlos Estevez comes out of the bullpen. We've been conserving Ezra Valenzuela, or at least trying to, throughout this series. We did use him for 3 games in Game 4, but otherwise we've been cautious. I think he could pitch multiple innings if we needed. Runner goes for second, and he is safe. The unfortunate thing is I don't think Culpepper got a great jump. If that was a better throw by Kyle Teel, we would have got him. Has not been Kyle Teel's best night. Rodriguez looks at the inside fastball, trying to work the count here. We're now even 2-2. Estevez looking to get out of the inning as he fouls off the 12-6 curve. Erod, the youngster, keeps it alive. The American League Rookie of the Year in 2026 has not been as good since as he fouls off another one. He's swinging at all of these hanging pitches low. So because of that, why stop doing it? He clearly wants these low pitches. Grounds it to first. Caro makes the play. Smart pitching by Carlos Estevez. We get out of the 6th, even though Wisniewski allowed the early base runner. Estevez does a good job of getting us through the rest of the inning. 3-4-5, Lubob, Caro, Marte. What do you 3 got for me? In a game that is knotted up at 3. Pitch and change for Minnesota. Bailey Ober's day is over. He was solid, I would say. Griffin Jacks comes in. He gets Lubob to go down looking. Come on, I don't know if that pitch was a strike. What are we doing, Blue? I didn't pay you to call strikes like that, Angel Hernandez. Come on. Ketel Marte up the middle. That one gets by Julks. And it gets by Culpepper for a base hit. So we've got a runner on here with 2 away. I don't know how many more chances we're going to have with guys on base in this game. And remember, this is for our season. So we could really take advantage here right now. That'd be amazing. Colson Montgomery homered his last time up. And because of that, Jax is clearly a little bit intimidated to pitch to him. 3-1. Montgomery gets a hold of it into left center at the track. It is caught. I'll be honest, off the bat, I thought that was gone. While it was not a bad swing, it really wasn't all that close. It was still off by a good 5 or 10 feet. We'll go bottom 7, another pitching change for the White Sox. We are going to roll with Hagen Smith. He hasn't looked great in the playoffs. The last time we saw him, Game 4 against the Twins, he allowed the walk-off homer to Ryan Jeffers. Granted, he had over 2 scoreless innings before that. But still, he's been a little up and down with his bullpen role, but he better get us through this inning as Wallner goes down looking. Here's James Wood. He's behind 1-2. And he pops it up into foul territory. These lefty-on-lefty matchups are working up well. Another reason why I brought Smith into the game. He retires the side, 1-2-3 inning. Great work from Hagen. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. We will stretch. The White Sox offense certainly could use some stretching given that we've had nothing going for a few innings. As TJ Antoine comes into the game. Again, we saw it earlier back in Game 4. The Twins have a very unconventional approach to the bullpen, bringing their closer in here in the 7th inning in a tie game. I cannot say I agree with it. I would have waited. Wagner to short. Correa to first. in time. Who am I to talk? Penn State gets out of it, and we remain tied at 3 going into the 8th. Time is winding down for both of these teams. And we're going to bring in John King. A little bit of an interesting move because he has struggled in the postseason. But again, they've got some lefties due up, and I think he can match up with them pretty well. Ryan Jeffers, though, is not a lefty as he puts it on the ground over to second base. Marte makes the play. Throw to first is in time. Good snag there by Edgar Caro as well. He's really gotten comfortable defensively at first base. That was never even a backup position for him at the start of the series. Santos 1-2, got him looking on the slider. So far, so good here for John King. Even though he hasn't been great in this postseason, we don't have that many trustworthy guys in the pen other than him. As Culpepper grounds it to first, Edgar Caro makes the play. The Twins' offense has gone completely cold. They had the early 3-0 lead, but since the third inning, they've had pretty much nothing. We'll go bottom 8, still tied at 3. Neither team has scored since the bottom of the 4th. Could that change here for the White Sox? Coming in for Minnesota is James McArthur. 7 innings, 3.86 ERA. Is this where the White Sox go on a run, try to take the lead, and potentially set up a Game 7 of the ALCS? Top of the order is up. We'll start with Corey Julks, 0 for 3. Pops it up. I think that would have been ball 4 had he let it go. It would have been close. I see why he protected and swung, but I think it was a little bit high. That'll bring up Kyle Teal. He has not had a great game tonight. Looking to change that. Here it's into left, and it goes for a base hit. All we've got to do is stack these base runners. The go-ahead run is now at first base. Our best player is up. Luis Robert La Bandera. 2-2. That one got away. He thought about it at first, but luckily pulls back. Now the count is full. The last thing Minnesota wants to do is let up another base runner, get Kyle Teal closer to home plate. The 3-2 for Lou Bob, and he fouls this one away. Hit it well, but swung a little bit late at the sinker, coming in at 98 miles an hour. That is awfully fast. 3-2. Outside for ball 4. 2 runners on, go-ahead runner in scoring position. It's been a weird series for Edgar Caro. On one hand, he hasn't homered since Game 2 of the ALDS, but against Minnesota, he's 10 for 25. That's a 400 average. Not for much power, but he's hitting it. How about that for not much power? Edgar Caro clappers it into right. The White Sox take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. It's Edgar Caro who comes up big with the biggest swing probably of our entire season. A 3-run shot to put the White Sox ahead 6-3. We needed a big swing from someone. Caro has not had a very good game at the plate today, but he saved his best for the end. A moonshot that everybody in the stadium, including Edgar, knew was a homer the second it hit his bat. If that's the biggest swing of this season, then by default, that's got to be the biggest swing of this franchise series so far. 3-run homer in Game 6 of the ALCS to put the White Sox ahead. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. I wasn't sure what to expect going into the playoffs with Edgar Caro, but my God, is he a big-time player. Same guy who, through half the year, was hitting below 200. Remember that? Yeah, that's completely out the window. The Twins are going to make a switch. Dowry Moretta is in the game. They certainly do not want the White Sox to add to the lead any further as Marte hits it into left. That one is caught for the second out of the inning. I would love to add some more insurance. Just make this as comfortable of a lead as possible as it's Colson Montgomery, the 1-1. That one is grounded up the middle. Play should be made by Culpepper, and it will. That'll wrap up the 8th. 3-run homer for Edgar Caro. The White Sox lead at 6-3, and now we've got a decision to make. I was always going to put Ezra in here in the 9th, whether the game was tied, whether we were up by 1, whether we were up by 2. But with this 3-run lead, I don't really see the point of putting Ezra Valenzuela in the game. Yeah, he's only pitched twice in this series against Minnesota, but one of those games, Game 4, he threw 3 innings. So why not save him for Game 7, where we are certainly going to need him and instead bring in Dre Jameson. Now, if this inning gets even the littlest bit ugly, we're putting Ezra in. He is warming up. He's just about ready to go. We're firmly prepared if we need him. Correa, up the middle, nice scoop by Jameson. There's one. That's a good start. Now it's Brooks Lee, 3-1, outside for ball 4. Minnesota's just got to get a couple guys on. If we can score 3 in one inning, so can they, right? Emmanuel Rodriguez, 3-1. Ooh, that was a close call. Rodriguez has largely been aggressive swinging at these low pitches. He lets that one go. This time it is a strike. The 3-2, Erod pops it up into left. Julks is under it, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. One more out, and we're going to Game 7. That'll bring up the number 6 hitter, Matt Wallner. He's had a nice series for Minnesota, but he's 0 for 3. Let's get one more out, shall we? Wallner finds himself ahead in the count, 2-1. Dre Jameson, of all people, looking for the save. That one hit up the middle. Marte, what a play! To first, in time! This series is going 7. The White Sox take it by a final score of 6-3. 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th inning by Edgar Caro is the difference for Chicago. This team had lost 3 games in a row in Minnesota. We had no momentum. We were down 3-0 in this game, but these guys didn't quit. The pitching over the last 6 innings was marvelous. We allowed 1 hit after the second homer by Culpepper. We got the run in the 3rd. We got the homer by Montgomery in the 4th. Quieted down after that. It was certainly not a consistent game for the offense, but we got the big play when we needed it by Edgar Caro. 6 runs, 7 hits. Interesting. Not a lot of hits, really, for either team. Only 11 combined. I mean, Minnesota's offense just did not have a lot going. Our pitching was brilliant. The pitching's been spotty throughout the entire month of October, but chips on the line, needed a big game. They produced. The offense, 7 hits, 2 walks. That's not enough base runners. That's not going to win us a lot of games, but it did win this one. You know why? 2 big homers for Montgomery and Caro, and then awesome pitching. Wisniewski was pretty good. Bullpen was nails. 4 innings. I think they allowed 1 base runner, and that was it. So through 6 games against the Twins, we do not have a winner. What are the 2 best words in sports, you guys? Game 7. And we've got some decisions to make. No, we are not starting Drew Thorpe. I'm going to tell you that right now after his debacle in Game 3. We've got some choices. Taj Bradley is probably available on short rest. I don't know how many innings we would get out of him. 5, maybe 6. Certainly nothing further than that. I think we need to find a weapon in the pitching staff. Use a guy a little bit differently than normal. And I think I know the player. It might be a little risky because he's the closer. But Ezra Valenzuela has only pitched twice in this series. I think he's pretty well rested. This is not a 1-inning pitcher. This is a guy who can go 3 innings at a time at his best. We just saw it in Game 4 against the Twins. So I don't know how we're going to use Ezra Valenzuela, but he is going to pitch a lot in this game. He will not appear in the 9th inning. We're going to have him come in a lot earlier. When that will be, you'll have to find out. Game 7 of the ALCS premiering later this week. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out.